The event I attended for my project was a play at FSU's Fallon Theater. I did not get a photo of me at the theater, but I included a photo of me watching it on my computer online. The goal was simulating a hearing impairment, and I went into the play observing how I would hear every aspect of the production as it went on. The show I attended took place on February 19, 2020 at the Fallon Theater at 8 p.m. The play featured Hispanic characters and was comprised of fast-paced rapping as part of its soundtrack. The play featured bilingual lines but was able to be understood without knowing Spanish. The reason I found out about the Fallon Theater is because I had taken a class that semester and I had found out about it. The Fallon Theater is an operation for the recreation of the general Tallahassee public. The purpose of the theater is to put on production and to entertain its guests. The play I attended was entitled In the Heights, and the show was produced and performed by the Florida State School of Theater at the Fallon Theater. The Fallon Theater offers several options for guests with disabilities, including accessible seating, Braille programs, and assistive learning devices, or ALDs. The theater features almost 500 seats and has put on over 150 productions since opening up in 1970. It is consistently voted the best place in Tallahassee to watch a play, and I can tell why. After attending the show, I was able to find several bars to participate. The barriers to participate that I found for my hearing impairment were no on-hand assistive listening devices and no marked off sections for the hearing impaired. Another slight barrier to participate was that the assistive listening devices were not on hand and were only available if you had called 48 hours before the show to reserve them. After attending the show, I have come up with some recommendations for the barriers that were not able to be represented. My recommendations for the barriers experience include on-hand assistive listening devices. This way, there is never anything to worry about when it comes to hearing disabilities. My second recommendation is a subtitle app that can download on your smartphone. This would be another option for the hearing impaired and would help understand the show's fast-paced rapping sequences. The app would be in sync with the show and could be glanced at throughout the play when needed. In conclusion, this experience gave me a new perspective on things we take for granted every day. Something as simple as going out and watching a play needs to be well thought out and checked for accommodations everywhere. Whether hearing, visual, or physically impaired, they're all obstacles that needs to be crossed. I believe that the Fallon Theater was hearing impairment friendly, but needs a couple upgrades in order to adapt to this high-tech world. The next step has to be the inclusion of smartphone integration and the ability to bring your own earbuds to help listen to the show easily. Other than that, the ushers were more than willing to help guests of all abilities and assist them to their seats. Although I was focusing on the audio component of the show, I noticed that there were seats reserved in the front for visually impaired guests, but no sections marked off for the hearing impaired. I think that this should be changed and that this should be the assistive learning devices are located. Another small detail was that the aisles were very thin and it was very hard to navigate between seats. You also had to stand up every time someone was trying to get into your aisle. I have now been to the Fallon Theater for two productions, Chicago and In the Heights, and I can say that I recommend it 100%. With very talented cast members and great singers, you really get your money's worth. The theater has a 4.9 out of 5-star rating on Yelp with hundreds of reviews. The theater is located on West Call Street and can be reached with just a short walk from the Westcott building.